What are the biggest mistakes that brokerages are making today with sales?
Where do I start? The main one is that they don't listen, they don't try to understand what you want. For them, you're a bag of money.
How do you keep up the same enthusiasm to help someone figure out what their dream home is?
Every salesperson, they have to have a ways. How do I become excited? How do I become happy? I would say do like 10 push-ups and it will work, you know?
If I do 10 push-ups, I'll go to sleep. Like I won't be able to meet
You're
anybody after
gonna
that.
be
No
fine.
podcast after that. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of The Real Ones. Today, I'm joined by the one and only Yulia Neicovcean. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. You did my
I
name
got it right.
You got it. Nice.
I got it right. Let's go. So, Yulia, you lead up ventures and venture architecture effectively for the ThinkProp Institute. Effectively, ThinkProp, for everyone's context, is an education technology platform for the real estate sector and also focusing on real estate technology, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
ThinkProp is a real estate institute where we license, train all real estate professions.
Yeah.
In Abu Dhabi and in Dubai too.
Got it.
So we were initially established to help Abu Dhabi government to enforce the laws because they were laws, but they were not an entity that will train real estate brokers and license them.
Okay.
So it's not just brokers, it's valuers, surveyors, auctioneers, and there's some new profession coming up too.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can't talk about it, or we can talk about it in the end.
I can't. But I know, honestly speaking, all the professions that are in real estate at some point gonna be trained and licensed. This is the target of Abu Dhabi government, which I think is right.
Absolutely.
Like, you can't be a doctor if you don't have a degree. Why can you be a real estate broker if you didn't learn about it?
100%. And are there a lot of those kind of folks in like the market?
Since I'm here for 11 years.
Wow.
So Dubai used to be regulated quite before.
No.
Abu Dhabi not.
Okay.
Abu Dhabi did have real estate, they did have brokers, but they didn't have proper regulations in terms of licensing of brokers, training them.
Got it.
So it was sort of Wild West
Okay.
until we came in picture and we started regulating it.
So ThinkProp is basically that body of the... Okay. Very interesting. So normally we don't start with the business part of it.
No?
We talk a little bit about what you wanted to be when you were 7 years old.
When I was 7 years old, I always wanted to be a singer.
Okay.
Yeah. I loved Britney Spears.
What kind of music? Britney Spears.
Yes, like I was a kid. I loved Britney Spears. I was singing all the time.
Yeah.
I thought I was good, but people in karaoke can say, I don't know.
Yeah. I have no idea. You still do it? You still?
I still sing, yeah.
Okay. At karaoke or?
At karaoke,
Okay.
So that was what I wanted. And then when I was a little bit older, I wanted to be a politician.
Oh.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
It fascinated me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about politics made you excited?
Well, my mom was always working in City Hall, in the capital of my country. So I was like, she's my role model. So I was admiring her and, going in City Hall, watching all these people. So I thought I can be a politician.
No. And then when did that dream go away?
When I grow up and realize how it really happens.
Yeah.
Since I'm from Eastern Europe, so it's clear.
Yeah. Okay. So you went from wanting to be a singer to a politician to then getting into real estate.
Yeah.
What was that journey like in Dubai primarily initially Dubai,
in
I guess.
Moldova, in Chisinau. It was there.
Yeah.
It was funny because when I wanted to be a politician after the high school, I wanted to take a bachelor's in philosophy and politics. And my mom was like, who the hell does this?
Oh my God. What job do you get with philosophy and politics?
Who are you going to be after that? Because at that time I was reading philosophy and I thought it's going to be cool, all you had to do is just to talk smart stuff. So no, I didn't end up doing that. I did bachelor's in finance. And right after I finished university, I came to Dubai.
Wow. Okay. So that's very bold. I mean, how do you just end up here? Was there?
I had a friend
Okay, gotcha.
who convinced me to come to Dubai for summer. Imagine like how dumb I was. Like just come for summer, and then you'll see. I came here, by the way, a year ago. Like
Yeah.
in May, it's a year. Like not a year, it's 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So I thought I'm gonna just chill a little bit and go back to Moldova, and I stayed.
That's how we all come here. They're like, hey, let's
Yes.
take a little vacation. And then like, no, we're hooked onto the city. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. So, and then you straight away got into real estate.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I think as everybody, I came here to work in F&B.
Okay.
So as a hostess in a restaurant.
Okay.
And the idea was like, Yulia, you just have to stay pretty, smile, give the menus, and you'll be fine. And with my Russian attitude, it didn't work.
Oh, fair. So you couldn't be nice to them. And okay, fair.
No, not at all. And so I resigned after 2 months.
Yeah.
And then I got into real estate.
Okay.
Yeah. So my first year in Dubai was extremely tough because I never took money from my parents.
Yeah.
So I was like, imagine working on commission, and I came here in 2013 when it was just after crisis. So it was growing, but not that great.
Yeah.
And luckily I speak Russian. So at that time there were Russian clients, so I could, start.
People think this happened recently, but it's been going on for a while, right?
Yeah. So it was waves.
Yeah.
The first wave of Russians coming here was after crisis, after 2008-9. They start coming here and buying. They were buying floors. Like at that time, it was even more than now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are working with them, and because they wanted to keep their properties, we offered them to do holiday homes. At that time, there was no holiday homes in Dubai. There was no department of that regulates it.
Yeah.
We just like did it by ourselves. We were the first at that time holiday home company.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're doing like I was working in real estate as a broker and as holiday homes, like renting apartments on daily and monthly.
Yeah. So leasing basically is kind
Yeah.
of where you started, and then you got into sales.
Yeah.
You
And then I got promoted to operations.
Yeah.
And after that, I became a commercial director and GM at 25.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
So
cool.
you went from them telling you, oh, just like sit still, look pretty, to
Yes.
I'm the GM of this particular
Yes.
establishment. Wow. Wow.
And
that's
it was
awesome.
the number 3 holiday home company in Dubai. So it was quite big. We had a staff of 60 people. So like it was a good experience.
Yes. And then you went into the sales side as well after that?
I used to manage all the time the sales teams.
Gotcha.
Like I got a lot of trainings. I'm a nerd, so
Okay.
I
Aren't we all?
took different trainings from the US.
Yeah.
And I was hiring, interviewing, training our team. This is how I came up with the career of a coach, because
Gotcha.
at some point the markets are falling again in 2019.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm so done with real estate. I'm gonna teach them to do it right.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I moved to being a coach in sales.
And who's been your best student so far?
The best student, I have an online school.
Yeah.
And that guy, he was from Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Umer, I think his name is. And he was watching my videos, and he told me after he finished the second module, he sold a product and covered the cost of the course.
Course.
And
yeah.
that kind of was like a nice, feeling like, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But overall, lots of great students, because I train in different industries, and I train in a lot in tech, a lot in financial sector. I train Emirates MBD, so like
Right.
banking. It's not only real estate.
So it's basically sales across all these different industries. And what are your top 3 killer sales tricks that people should, know about?
People should listen.
That's big.
The most important thing is that every salesperson think that you have to give a pitch, and maybe you do, but you have to listen.
Yep.
Number 1, you have to listen, and you have to make sure that the clients feel that you listen to him.
Yeah.
Number two, you have to ask questions and don't assume that you know. Salespeople always think that they know it all, like I know what you need, and stuff like that. And number three is make an attempt of closing, which is very funny. There is a statistics that 95% of people, they do it all right, but they don't close. So how it happens, you are pitching your client, you qualified, you did everything, and then you're like, so like they expect the client to say, I'm going to buy. They don't actually put the question. So ask.
Wow.
And if the client doesn't says no, ask again and again and again until
if
they
not
say
now.
yes.
100%, right?
Or they block you, which is fine.
I think Ryan Serhan has this. He's like, until we die, basically, he's selling kind of a thing, right? Like that's the final follow-up is until then, effectively. That's kind of how he has his sales strategy. But what you said about listening, I think is so important.
Yeah.
Every time I go onto a pitch call, the first thing the client or prospect is asking me is, oh, so what's your product? And I'm just like, but what do you do, right? Like, I just stop them right there. They're more than happy to chat. And then 5 minutes later, after they've spoken about themselves, they feel good. They feel like, okay, cool, he's heard me out. Now, okay, now tell me, like, what do you actually do, right? So, because we need to stop having a good time and start having a business conversation, because that's what this time was scheduled for, right?
Yeah.
And then they come back into it, and then we can have because now I know what problems they're actually facing. And the reality is that, as salespeople, you need to be able to solve the problem for the customer.
Correct.
Not just, sell them something.
Whatever you have.
Yeah.
Like the problem in the current market is that there is a big inventory, but not everybody has access to everything. So what they do, they're trying to pitch what they have. They don't try to understand what the client wants.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. But how do you kind of balance that, right? Let's say a client wants something and you don't have it. What do you do?
Half of the clients never end up buying what they inquired about.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So like usually you enter in a shop thinking that you want that, and you end up buying something else. Why? Because we don't know that there's another availability, or we don't know what we want usually. So a salesperson's job is not only to pitch a product, but to help the client to buy.
Got it.
So as a salesperson, you need to help him understand and qualify him in such a way that he agrees with you, like, yeah, I think I need that. And of course, you have to work on your inventory. Like you have to have a lot of options from what the client can choose.
Got it. And this is probably why my talabat bill is so high. They're like, are you sure you don't want water? Do you want some extra tabbouleh on the side?
That is cross-selling. The one is
it's good. Exactly. Like, and I'm just like, wait, how is this 70 dirhams right now? I thought I wanted one shawarma and now we're here, So that's just what I think is just understanding that people might have a bigger appetite, than they might let off.
And also, usually people are afraid to get dropped off, so they put a lower price initially, what is their budget. So in a way that they will be able to negotiate after. So instead of talking about the price, and every time all the salespeople, it's not just real estate brokers, everybody focus on the price and they try to convince the price. But what the person is thinking about is what he gets as end result. So you have to focus not on the, when you buy a drill, right? You don't think about how cool is the drill. You think about the hole in the wall that you're going to do and hang a picture. So you have to sell the end result.
Very interesting.
Something that people don't understand in real estate. Like you have to sell the lifestyle, you have to sell the investment, whatever they are planning to get. But not the square foot, the finishing and so on.
Got it. Yeah. Because that's not like, it's not really what they care about at the end of the day. It's the feeling that they have when they walk into that place, right? So how can agents do a better job of that, of painting a picture?
People decide by emotions and justify it with their brain. So you have to sell emotions. You have to make a client excited about this purchase. So stuff like to make them feel, to make them believe that this will make them happy pretty much, you know. So like if you are in an empty apartment that has white walls and there is nothing, and you go around and tell them like, this is the view, here's, I don't know, the window, the bathroom, and so on, there is no excitement about it. So you have to make sure that the client sees a future, sees like his family living there, sees like how his wife gonna cook in that kitchen, how they were gonna wake up to this view, and so on. So you have to generate emotions and not just the like, this is the price, this is the ROI, and
Done.
that's it.
Yeah. And I think, you know, this is such an interesting opportunity because emotion is what we gauge from social media, right? We scroll through our reels, we see something, we react, right? That's how it happens. But the problem is a lot of agents just post videos of a property tour, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I guess if it's that $195 million penthouse that Ryan Serhan was selling,
You get excited.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll watch because it's like the most expensive penthouse. And that's something that everyone would watch, not just, you know, people who are interested in real estate. But I feel like a lot of folks are oversaturating this whole property tour thing. And I've had these viral content creators who come here and they talk about what kind of content agents should be making. And they always say, not real estate. You should be talking about what you're passionate about. And then for what you're passionate about, one video about real estate. And that's kind of the ratio. So how do you kind of advise agents to approach social media? Does it actually work? Do people close deals from social media?
They do.
Yeah.
They do, because people buy from people. It is very important every brand to have a face. So that's why you are a face of your brand, right? Like you know it. So it's the same in real estate. If you keep on posting square foot and white walls, it won't click. The very important thing that every salesperson has to understand is that we are selling to the same customers the same product on the same price. So the only thing that makes a difference is the personality. So why somebody has to buy from me and not from you? And this is what they have to sell on social media, which is you as a personality. Like, since I told them I'm a nerd, like I would be interested to see a real estate broker sharing news, sharing secrets, sharing updates, sharing something curious, something interesting about real estate, you know? New laws, new regulations, new, I don't know, properties coming on the market, some cool deals. You know, like somebody who is on top, like this will give me an understanding that the guy actually works towards the content. So he's working hard, he's smart, and he is on top of the market, you know? Because I want to be buying from a guy or a girl, doesn't matter, who knows it all, like who knows the whole city and can offer me the best product, you know? So like this is what you need to show through your social media. Before, people were tolerating, you know, like, okay, you're new, it's fine. Now, nowadays it's a trend, you want to work with professionals. So nobody's tolerating stuff like, I don't know, I'm going to check with the developer. You have to know it all. Like, you have to be an expert at what you're selling.
What you said about the inside knowledge part is very interesting, I think. I don't know if you've seen this video of Alex DeBear. He's talking about the price of a burger, price to make a burger in a restaurant, right? So it's like the bread costs 3 dirhams, the patty costs 6 dirhams, this and that. And this is why a burger costs 40 dirhams, right? This is how much I pay for my restaurant, the lighting, the electricity bill, the staff. And he broke down the cost of that. And I was just like, why is this guy doing this, right?
It's interesting.
Exactly. And it increases the watch time, and people are watching till the end of the video. They're like, how much does it actually cost? How much money is he making? These are the things that people want. So it's like, how does real estate agent commissions work? Like, how much do you actually make on a deal that costs $16 million, for instance, right? And then people are like, 2%. No, like, you know, it doesn't exactly work as smoothly as that. What do you take home at the end of a day as an agent is different from what you end up making from a deal, right?
Or if you make a content for the clients and you tell them, like, you know, a customer of mine bought in COVID for 1.1. and now sold for 3.5 because it's a real story. Like, the prices in COVID and prices now are so different. And he can, kind of interview that person and, the person talking about it. Or I was, there was an influencer or like a real estate broker who was in COVID. He really was sharing that some developer was offering buying a townhouse and get second for free. Yeah, imagine. So like this deal like kind of blew my mind. And it was so curious. Like it was some like very, very far in desert, but doesn't matter. Like, like sharing this kind of stuff, or when Samana first released 1 bedroom with the pool, like when somebody talks about it, like, now you can buy 1 bedroom in GVC with the pool, when it was the first building, so like this kind of stuff, if you're first that are sharing you when you are talking about the market and you are always, on top, this kind of brokers want to follow. I don't know that they bought a new car or a new Cartier watch.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. You're a bit of an influencer yourself. I see the daily stories. They're like, guys, I'm driving to Abu Dhabi. These guys are going way too slow. It's 140. That's the speed limit. What are you doing?
Well, I used to do more. Now I'm guilty. I'm not doing it well enough. I know how to do it very well. I'm lazy.
Come on, let's go. You're too young you can't listen to people. I want to sleep in, but people honest. Are just like,
I'm honest. And the thing with social media, it likes me and I don't like it so much.
Okay.
So like everything I do goes good, like in LinkedIn, I have quite a big following because in LinkedIn is something that I invest time in. So like I think about the articles and I write and they go viral. So I do a lot. In Instagram, it takes lots of effort. Like, now, right? Like you try to do content for lots of time. So like it takes a lot of time and I have a full-time job too. Managing an institute, it kind of takes a lot of time. 100%. But that's an excuse. I should have done more.
Yeah, of course. And so when you're thinking about the future of education in real estate, what are the areas that you're really focusing on right now? And why is it important for agents?
So we, apart from the compulsory courses that come from the government, we focus on soft skill trainings, or we call them professional career development courses, which are sales, marketing, personal branding, digital marketing. So we train all sorts of other trainings like Proptech. I was asking you to make a course.
Of course, yeah. We gotta you gotta find the time. It's so much content to put out, right? Yeah.
So all sorts of training. Apart from that, we brought in Dubai NAR, National Association of Realtor. We brought REBI, which is Real Estate Business Institute, PIAPSI. So we brought a bunch of international designations, and we bring the coaches, and they get certified. Like I am first CAPS certified. I'm not even a broker in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, so I got certified. So we give them different trainings. The future of education, I think, what didn't hit the spot yet in Dubai or in UAE overall is that training isn't so fancy or so cool yet, because all over the world people go for trainings. Like I've noticed in Russia, in US, in the Europe, everybody are learning something all the time. Like everybody has something, that they're going through. Here is not that. Here the mentality is a bit different, is that the owner of the company has to provide me the training. So like they expect the company will provide them the training.
Also interesting. So you're saying in the US people sign up for trainings individually, and here companies do it for them. Otherwise they don't do it.
Yeah.
Why do you think people should spend money investing, into courses and into retraining themselves from their own bank account?
Because it's investment in yourself.
Yeah.
Like I would hire likely a person who doesn't have experience but has a lot of trainings. So I know the person invested in himself, his academics, and I can, I can teach him because he's open to knowledge. Mainly when I used to hire for real estate brokerage, this is the biggest problem that you face. If a person is not coachable, it's very hard to change him. If he learned to not go on viewings and send the client to go to take the key onto the mat, and see the apartment without him, and then wondering why he didn't close the deal. This will be his pattern unless he's ready to accept that, like, I think I'm not doing well, I need to learn.
Yeah.
And everybody have a big ego, and it's very hard to accept, like, I need to learn something new unless it's a habit. So my kind of goal is to, I was talking to Cecilia recently, let's make training sexy again, like, to make it attractive. People need to learn and to become interested in, like, to see what else is there. I have friends back home that they, like, a girl, she's learning at the same time, like, her marketing course, her makeup course, her something about children's psychology. So, like, she buys all sorts of courses online and she learns it all the time. And it's like a norm, Here's not that. So I think, like, our mission is to, not just to bring the product, but also to promote this culture of learning.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important for people to be lifelong learners almost, right? Otherwise you're missing out on so much that's going on. Proptech, for instance, AI, these kind of things are just buzzwords for most people, right? Like, they don't get it, they don't know what's going on, and they're so intimidated by the big words that they stay away from it altogether. And the second they hear, oh, your technology, don't talk to me. Like, your AI, please give me a, like, don't. So I think it's so important for us to break those barriers down. But in the context of real estate technology and AI and all these kind of things, what's actually happening in the market? Because you see instructors from the space, you also meet with, individuals that are building these companies. What excites you most right now in that space?
I like all the new Proptech things that appear in the market. Like, I like when real estate brokers actually use them. And Hasp is one great example. Like, they do help a lot with the mortgage. I feel like they kind of cleaned the mortgage market in Dubai. In terms of, like, just basic, GPT chat, at least their mails became nicer. This kind of stuff.
People started becoming more professional on emails all of a sudden.
Yes, or they have better descriptions on
YouTube or
Property Finder.
Oh yes, of course.
Let's hope that MLS system will get into Abu Dhabi and Dubai, because they both are in process of doing that. That will regulate the market a lot. That will remove the fake listings, and people will make more effort. Like, have you seen Selling Sunset?
Yes,
of course. So
one episode.
One only.
I lost brain cells. Like, I was like, I can't do this. I know, like, one of my friends has a Netflix show. It's called Buying London, right? And it's like, I know him and I know the agents, some of them, and I know how they actually are, and I know how much is being dramatized, right? And I'm just like, you must be nice people and good agents and things like that. But, like, on the show, oh my God, like, sometimes you're just like, is it really? Like, I mean, for Selling Sunsets especially, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, but if you take all the fuss about it, out of it, like all the sparkles and all the, all the stuff, if you look at how they're doing it, is right. So, like, they prepare the property, they stage it, they make a right viewing, and if you see how they make the viewing, is what I was telling you, they sell emotions, Sometimes when you come on viewing with a broker in UAE, you walk around and he is like, this is sofa, this is the kitchen, like, you're an idiot and you can see it, But instead of, like, actually showing something that, you kind of get out of it. So like, selling emotion, Selling Sunset, yes, it's kind of exaggerated, but the way how they are doing, like, when you look at their interaction with the clients, and when you look how they prepare for the viewings and so on, that's how it should be done. And this can be done only when one broker works with one property and he knows he will sell it.
Yeah.
That's what MLS gonna solve,
Got it. When you have, like, the exclusivity and
because client buyers and sellers are not how you call it? They don't work only with one. Are not loyal.
They're not loyal.
Yeah, they're not loyal. They work with everybody. Whoever gonna sell my property. And I think it's because in other countries, back in the UK as well,
Yeah.
the commission is paid by the landlord.
Mhm.
And in Europe as well. But
Right.
here, the commission is paid by the buyer or tenant. So the landlord doesn't care who's going to work. So
As long as they get the thing done.
Exactly.
In the end,
So he'll give his property to everybody, just whoever will sell, like just sell it, you know.
Yeah.
So this exclusivity will clean the market and will make, you know, people to actually do some effort into preparing the property,
Yeah.
into selling it, learning about it, and so on.
Got it. So unifying the mortgage process was one, and then also increasing transparency and efficiency in the market by using the MLS system as well.
I
think
that.
it's very true, and you know, also will encourage a lot more foreign investment. Even though we already have a lot today, it's going to be significant volumes higher, right? So you're quite an entrepreneurial person, right? Overall, like I've known you for a little while, but I know that you are, and especially when you talk about sales, I can see, like, you know, battle scars, you know. So talk to me about your favorite quote about entrepreneurship.
My favorite quote.
I know you do a lot of quotes. I know you, like, on the drives to work is like
you saw, yeah.
Of course. So yeah.
Well, I don't know who said it, but I think it was something about never stop learning, because this is what made me. Yeah. Because so how I got promoted, it's funny. I'll go back a little bit. I was, you know, in the call center answering the calls for the holiday homes, and I was complaining on that everything is bad. There's no check-ins, blah, blah, blah. You know, like I was very vocal. And our GM was like, if you're so smart, just go and do it. And I became operation supervisor.
You went and did it.
Yeah. And like zero understanding of maintenance, cleaning, like all the stuff. Nothing. So I had to learn. Like I took some courses and understanding how it works. And then I entered by mistake when my sales team had a training. And I stayed there, and being a nerd, I was like, you know, I wanted to participate. And then the coach told my boss again, like, she's great in sales. You have to put her in sales. And then I had to manage the sales team. And I understood that I can sell with my personality, but I don't know how to teach it, because there is a very clear psychology behind sales. Like there is there's like a formula in math, you know, you just do 7 steps or 6 steps, whatever, and you get it done. So I started taking courses. I did Grant Cardone, I did Belfort, I've done Brian Tracy, like, you know, all the famous ones. I've done University of Grant Cardone, like for around 2 years of courses.
So is it really worth it? Is the Grant Cardone course really worth it?
To me at the time, I needed that, because Grant Cardone is a lot about massive action, a lot of, you know, do a lot, and like his 10x kind of theories and stuff like that. At that time, it was worth it.
What is his 10x theory?
You don't know. His main thing is like, whatever you're doing, do it 10 times more, and you're gonna get more result. So like, guys who call more, who meets, make more meetings, like scale everything that you're doing, and you'll get more. Now I'm kind of flipping on the other side towards quality rather than the quantity. But at that time, it was worth it. And also, it's important to understand why it's important to learn is that everything is changing. If 10 years ago cold calling was the thing, now it is not anymore. If people were meeting face to face, now they do Zoom. And a lot of customers, they're happy to not go down and meet. All the interviews are going in Zoom now. Like, I'm so lazy to drive somewhere in an interview.
Why bother, right? Like, you can just hop on.
So like lots of stuff is changing. So you need to keep up with this. That's why you have to never stop learning.
Right. And the part about even doing more, right? The CEO of Airbnb, Brian Chesky, says this one quote, which is, action produces information, right? And I think what you said about going back to toning down the quantity and going up on the quality is something that you pick up over time, right? Well, until you figure that out, do more to learn more.
Exactly.
And I think that's totally, a very, very valid point. Okay.
But when I train, I tell them to do more. Like
100%.
when it comes to me, I know that I'd better speak to 3 clients, and I probably going to close all 3 just because I know how to do it. But them, when you have to qualify it, when you have to prospect, you have to do as much as possible.
And what are the biggest mistakes that brokerages are making today with sales?
Where do I start? They don't know the product.
Yeah.
They don't specialize. It's very important a broker to be specialized in a certain area, because if you try to hug all Dubai, it's impossible to know everything about every area. But this is not the main thing. The main thing is that you need to have an inventory for your client to offer. Yeah, so like you need to have 3 to 5 properties, similar ones to offer him. And if you have one in JVC, another one in Sports City, another one on the Palm, and then in Jebel Ali, like he doesn't have anything, an alternative to choose from your inventory, and he'll go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, then their listings. They have to actually invest in listings. Like it has to be same like social media. It has to be qualitative content, nice pictures, right description, right pricing. You have to, as a real estate broker, you're selling to 2 people. You're selling to the customer, to the buyer, the property, and to the landlord, the price. Like, if their price is exaggerated, you have to convince him and justify it. Through another Proptech thing that I like, the data stuff. We have DXB Interact.
Yes.
And we have one in Abu Dhabi that is Quanta. There's a bunch here, different ones. They're very useful, and I'm glad that real estate brokers are actually using them. So when you try to talk to a landlord and he's telling you that he won 20 million on his villa, and you justify him by showing that the last 20 transactions on the same kind of villa were on 15 million, so he will be more talkative.
Gotcha.
He'll be more flexible in terms of like, okay, maybe we can, drop it down. Otherwise, he'll be like, mine is the best. I have the Versace tiles, and then that's it.
It's a sentiment premium.
Yeah. When I was a real estate broker, we didn't have that. So you had to kind of keep on bringing them clients, so they will see, that the clients, they are not ready to pay so much, and then they will slowly go down on the price. Now you have data that comes from DLD that is very nice, arranged and filtered. So that's another soft that is good. Mistakes. Actually, the main one is that they don't listen, they don't try to understand what you want. For them, you're a bag of money and the commission that comes, And they also kind of filter people by the way they look, like this guy will not buy, they become Vanga, and they start understanding straight away who will buy and who will not.
Yeah.
And usually it's wrong. Usually people who are not gonna buy, they pretend like they are very interested and very rich, and the other ones, they don't show how wealthy they are.
So it's interesting when you have that pattern recognition in your head. Your brain is just like an algorithm kind of a thing. That's just like, oh, okay, he's this guy, works at this job, which means he probably can't buy this, disqualify kind of a thing.
Yeah,
right?
and they don't even try,
So how do you kind of keep the same? And you were asking me this earlier when we were talking about how can you stay interested in any podcast kind of a thing, like because you deal with so many guests. How do you kind of do that with clients, right? How do you keep up the same enthusiasm, the same, how you say, intensity to kind of close a deal or to, get to help someone figure out what their dream home is? How do you kind of maintain that energy?
First of all, you need to treat every buyer like they're real buyers. Even if they'll not buy from you, they will have a good experience with you and they'll recommend you to somebody. So like you have to go to the meeting with the belief that this is the buyer, and here it comes already psychology, how do you cheer yourself up? Somebody has a chocolate, somebody jump, somebody sings, somebody watch a stand-up comedy or something. So like every performer or every salesperson, they have to have a ways how they will switch them on. That's how do I become, pumped, how do I become excited? How do I become happy? Because if you go on the meeting and you're bored and you're like lazy and tired,
not gonna.
yeah. So you go excited, you already did your exercise. Like it can be a meditation, it can be a prayer to somebody. I always ask, when I train, what is your way of doing it? And the majority say it's music, food, prayer, meditation, pretty much that. I would say do like 10 push-ups and it will work, like you already release the amount of endorphins and you become, more happy.
If I do 10 push-ups, I'll go to sleep. Like I won't be able to
You're gonna-
meet anybody
you're
after.
gonna be
No
fine.
podcast after that. 10 push-ups, I'm done. Yeah.
Get a chocolate,
There-
or
yeah.
a coffee, whatever works.
Yeah.
So, and then you need to have a plan. As I said, sales are a subsequence of actions.
Yeah.
We can call it script,
Right.
So you need to have in your head these steps. Okay, now I'm greeting. Now I need to qualify. And now I'm shutting up and I'm listening to the client,
Yeah, I think that's like how do you kind of time box that, right?
Yes.
So sometimes on this podcast, right, I have guests on and they're talking about their life, their journey, etc. And then it takes a long time because it's a long journey. But my anticipation is that they'll summarize that journey in some way, highlighting the parts of it which are most interesting to them. But then some of them don't stop, right? And sometimes we cut little bits and bobs out of it. And it's just kind of, yes, you have the qualification process. Yes, you have the start of the prospect, the part where they talk about it. But it's like knowing intuitively where are the subtle moments where you jump in and like, nudge kind of a thing to move them along without seeming too robotic. Because if you seem too robotic, they'll be like, this guy just wants money. Like, because I'm just a bag of money, like you said.
Yes.
So like, that's a very hard skill to learn, I feel.
Yeah, it's a good trick to do is to summarize what they said. So while they're talking, so you'll be like, okay, so to make it clear that I understood you well, you want one bedroom with this view in this area with this square foot for this purpose and so on. So that will make
feel
him
heard.
feel that you listened. You kind of shut him off. So he'll be comfortable that you heard everything, you summarized, and the most important is when you'll present that particular property, he cannot say no. Because he just told you that he likes that. And if you offer him exactly that, he can't really object,
Got it. So you're saying that I'd make a great real estate agent at this point. Because I did remember summarizing some of your points earlier on. So I was like, okay, cool, I can do this job now.
Yes.
So you do a few ThinkProp courses, that'll be fun.
Yeah, you need to summarize everything he said and then proceed with the presentation.
Yeah.
Present the property, and at the same time while presenting you need to understand, does he like it, or is he bored, is he staring on the phone, are you being the background noise, or they have your attention. If you don't get the attention, move to another product, talk about something else, find out what they didn't like about this particular one. It's another mistake that I just remembered is that when you're on a sales meeting or viewing, real estate agents, they have a lot of stuff going on, and they tend to answer other calls. They tend to chat with somebody, and they even say, "Sorry, I'm talking to my client." And like, who I am then?
Yeah, why am I here?
Yeah. So like, you have to be 100% there. Like you have to put your phone aside and be there, and don't schedule your meeting, one after another that you can't, manage after that.
It's so interesting. And, being present is such a tricky thing for everyone that basically uses social media or a lot of technology. It's just, it's just that we have such an information overload from so many different avenues, from our news feeds, from our social media, from our messages. And then you're just like, finding that kind of way to prioritize almost is such an important thing. And like being present with the client, like you said, is so important, because if they know that you're giving them 100% of your attention, I'm pretty sure a client that's messaging you during a viewing, and if you went back to them saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was with another client," they will understand that when he's with someone, he gives them 100% of their time. That's what he did for me. That's what he's doing for everybody else. That's a good agent, right? So I think net people much more appreciate being present. And I really struggle with that sometimes, to be honest with you. Like, you got your team pulling you one side, you got your Stripe notifications, won't complain, and then you got emails and like all social media and things like that. We've gone to the top of like mountains and things like this during Eid, right? And I was sitting on there and I was just like posting my description for the Instagram for the reel, day 36 of 45, day 37. And like, I was just thinking to myself, 6 of my really good friends are here. And all I'm doing at that time is,
in your phone.
get my reel out. Gotta send that email. It's Eid. And you're still like, you're still trying to be very sucked into something that's not there. But when you are in the moment, let's say I am recording this, you need to think about, the thing that your friend asked you about, 2 days ago, or, something like this. So I don't know. How do you do that? How do you stay present?
So there are exercises that you can do.
No.
If you feel like you're being distracted, like your thoughts, you think about something else, you focus on your breath, like a meditation, but you just focus on it, so it kind of brings you back. If you want to show somebody that you are interested, you do like that pose, like
like this?
yeah. So
Okay.
this is something that you show that you're interesting. Like when your body's forwards like that a little bit, that means you're showing that you're interested. When you are more like that kind of thing, it means like they're interested in you, like you're the boss of the conversation.
Very interesting.
So
I just sit
that's
like this the whole
that's NLP, a little bit of the body language is important. To look a person in the eyes, it's important, but not too much, because some people, they're like staring at you, and that's
I'm conscious. I need to get my sunglasses.
and that's kind of intimidating, because not everybody likes it too much, right? But like you need to be there, like you need to focus there. If you know that your phone is your problem, put it in your pockets, remove the notifications, remove it. It's okay, nothing will happen. I remember when I was managing the company, a real estate brokerage, and at that time, I was I was a commercial director, so I had everything in my phone. I had like hundreds of groups, and everybody were texting. And I remember I was on the plane and I switched off my phone. And when I landed, I see the message first is like, Yulia, we need this. And then urgent, please reply. We don't know what to do. And then wait, I called Mohammed. Okay, I got a solution, and then it's done, So like I wasn't there, and they managed to fix it. So people, when you are not babysitting your team, that's another aspect of leadership or whatever I do. When you don't babysit them and manage, they will find a way. You don't have to be 24/7 on your phone. You don't have to be always with your team,
Yeah. So trust them to kind of follow through and do their part as well.
Because you chose them.
Yeah, exactly. For a reason. Yeah.
They're worth it.
100%. I think it's really actionable advice. I'm going to actually use that.
Delegate.
That was just for not the breath part, the notifications, all of these things. These are like very selfish questions. Like I was asking for myself.
It's okay.
The real estate crowd is not learning anything. So they learn from you. But so this, again, coming back to this younger kind of generation, if you were to kind of put yourself in the shoes of them, right? What advice would you give your 21-year-old self?
It's nice when you are 21, you're not afraid of anything. Because I wouldn't do the things that I've done at 21. I wouldn't do it now. Like I wouldn't move to a new country with $400, So believe in yourself. Like don't limit your dreams onto where you are from, or what is your family background, or what you've been told. Because I come from a post-USSR country, right? So whatever we've been told was that this is what you have and this is what you're gonna get. Like you're gonna have a steady job, you're gonna earn like $200 a month, you're gonna marry, make kids, and I don't know, and die. So like it was very pre-written. You know, I knew what I'm gonna do,
Yeah.
and I wasn't agree with that.
Yeah, of course.
So I think to believe that everything is possible, and luckily now the internet helps that. You can look at young kids or people that travel all over the world that succeed. You make your own company, you know, like all this kind of stuff is motivational. So I think this generation doesn't have an issue of believing in themselves, but apart from believing, they need to actually do something. This is the problem. Yeah. So like they all like they to dream and they want to be somebody, but the action is missing. So also there has to be a lot of action. And I think this is our mistake a little bit as influencers. Like I will try to associate to myself to an influencer, is that we show in social media only the success. We do show how cool we are. Like, look me, I'm at the training. You know, I'm going to the event with Tony Robbins and so on. That's where we met.
I bombarded Yulia's table, which was just like, she doesn't know who the hell is this guy. What was that like? I know, I'll let you finish your thought and then we'll go into that.
Okay. So, we need to show as well, you know, how much work do we do, you know, how much do we learn? Like I read a book a week. And my reading is not just sales. Actually, I don't like to read about sales because it's same stuff.
Same stuff every book, yeah.
So I read psychology, I read business, investment, finance, Proptech, tech, like everything else that I can bring into sales or I can bring into my leadership stuff and my work. So how much effort I do in order to deliver that 3-hour training.
Got it.
So we have, and everybody, the new generation, they have to understand that there is a lot of work behind the fancy life that we try to show in Dubai.
So we met at the Tony Robbins event, other experts, and I mean, to you, I would have been just some random guy that just walked onto your table and you guys were sitting front row with him and all this kind of stuff. And he was like right there and he's literally at your table.
Yeah.
And if you guys want, you can go and check. I think it was day 42 or 45 or something like that, where this happened. And it was this massive event with thousands of agents. And I knew nobody over there except for all of the people on your table.
On my table, yeah.
And they had all been on the podcast or were coming on the podcast or something like that.
And that's how I ended up here.
Yes, in the hot seat right now, getting asked all the questions. But, you know, what was your, like, what were your first reactions? Like, what the hell is this kid doing here?
So we are always, we're partners of this event. So we, Cecilia and Sonia are our coaches. They train in our academy. So I usually get a table for my trainers.
Yeah.
And Sylvia and Majdel, Mark, they're all my trainers. And then there were some of them for my staff. And my staff were at the booth because we had the booth outside.
Yes.
And Majdel told me, like, can I bring Lynette and Duni? I'm like, yeah, of course, bring everybody. So yeah, I wasn't surprised, but I just didn't know you. Cool. Yeah, like,
so because I didn't know that, right? Like I was just under the assumption that I was the only odd duckling in the group. Okay, cool. So it's nice to know that you brought a few friends. But it's so nice to have people like yourself and Majdel in the space. Like literally, it's been like heartwarming kind of how coming into this industry has been for me. I don't have any gray hairs. I don't have, decades of experience on me or anything like that. There's no reason that we should be sitting down and talking, or I should have had any of the other guests that I did talking to me either. And it's only possible because of folks like yourself. And I have to say that has been like such an unlock for me, because I don't think most young folks could come into this industry and try to build technology for everybody kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's just because of kind of meeting folks like yourself that's happened. So shout out Majdel, shout out Sylvia, all the homies,
I think you're also a very open guy. So you're open to conversations and you want to meet new people, and you're not afraid or shy to ask, This industry, you're right, is very focused on experience. It was hard for me to become a coach. I was blonde before, so like this Barbie girl trying to come in front of us and tell us that she knows about sales, while all the coaches in real estate in Dubai are like gray area, kind of aged men. So I had to take it over through, like, I know about tech, I know about, new techniques, I know about AI. This is how you can improve your sales, and not just the old greeting, pitching, and so on. Like I try to show that being young doesn't bring just, that I look young. It brings a lot of innovation. So you bring something that people didn't think about because you're coming out of the box. You look at the industry and see where the flaws and how you can fix them. And the WhatsApp is the main thing. So
100%.
People do need that. And I'm surprised that nobody did it. So good job.
Hey, we're just getting started. But, I think very true what you said, that people need to identify the thing that they're good at, and then find the commonality with the place that they're trying to get to, right? This podcast started with 2 guests from the Proptech space. I knew people in tech, therefore Proptech, and then I told the brokerages, I have the tech guys, do you guys want to come on? And they were like, cool. So that's kind of really the bundle. Yeah, it's like finding that intersection of things that you're good at, things where you want to go. And I think that's a very, very really valuable piece of advice to leave this podcast episode on. But Yulia, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time, coming all the way. And this has been such a blast.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Nice.
So don't forget to drop subscribe on the Real Ones podcast, wherever you're watching this. And we'll come back next week with yet another episode. See you in the next one.